long while since I did the puppet theatre at the Yellow House. But I've got Bruce Gould here, and Bruce and I would do shows together. I remember one night when Bruce decided to do a piece where he had a burning piece of perspex or something with big chunks of splattering fire, and Bruce was dancing around it. I was terrified that a piece of it would burn on his flesh. It's been strange for me coming back to this building. I haven't been back since 1971, and just walking down here tonight, I can feel the spirit of Martin and Alvy Toms, Brett Whiteley, Moss, Bliss, so many, and Peter Wright. We've got some of the photos downstairs bring tears to my eyes, seeing all these wonderful people that were at the Yellow House. And think of David, crazy David Lipinoff, and it goes on and on, Julian the Mime. And this is a place where artists came together, you know, particularly Martin Sharp's spirit has been here all day doing this, and I felt yesterday I had 4 boys from Cranbrook, which is Martin's old high school, and they came and helped put the show together. That's sort of bringing things back, because it was the boys from Cranbrook, his teachers, Justin O'Brien and Charlie Brown, inspired Martin to come and work at the Yellow House, and they came and helped. So there's all these strange, magical things coming back together after all this time. 46 years. I decided not to wait to 50 because I'm about to make a very dangerous film in Miami. You know, 71 and 17, it's like a mirror image. You know, 71 and 17, I like it. The strange thing for me is that when I was, you know, 21, moving towards 22, doing the Yellow House in 1971, I did that painting over there, mystical abstract, and I came and showed it to Martin, and went from that to the puppet theatre at the Yellow House. And at that time I thought, as a mystic, I'd spend my life trying to show other people what's on the other side of reality. The painting over here is dancing on the other side. And there's a time of Jim Morrison, you know, the other side, and the real thing. And so now, 46 years later, I think it was the death of the old Sufi at our Yellow House in Jalalabad that prompted it. I started doing mystical paintings again, and I'm coming out. I mean, what is the world if we only believe in science? You know, there's a terrible physicist, Hawkins, who says, you know, it's only you can forget about all the philosophers and the thinkers and the artists, it's only the astrophysicists, quantum physicists that know how things work. But all of art, to me, is proof that we've got a spirit and we've got a life beyond this world. And so these paintings are like the doors. They're like opening a doorway to the reality that I've always seen. When I was a kid, like, I've never been able to see darkness. There's a painting here called The Invisible Road, and the Transparent Road. And so when I'm in a dark room, I see sort of like paisley patterns and coloured shapes, thousands of butterflies, and did that from an early age. And I remember, like the little painting I did back then, and I remember coming in saying to my sister Pamela, Pam, do you see this stuff? And she said no, and she went and told Mum. And Mum quickly got me off to doctors, and I suddenly had EEG tests and wires tapped onto my head, and I was sort of sitting there as a kid thinking, gee, I hope they find that I'm an X-Man. When you go, you know, working as I have in Africa and all these other places, you can go into the most primitive tribal village in New Guinea or wherever, and you'll find there's a shaman, there's a mystic, and this is pre-Christian, this is pre-Islam, and certainly with the Aboriginals. I've been lucky enough to work in the Kimberleys and the Northern Territory, and the old men there recognise me as a fellow mystic. You know, they see the spirits in the river and the trees, and, you know, living in a world where we're seeing people fighting over the Quran or the Bible, it's like the Crusades all over again. I say, well, I've only got one book, and it doesn't need to be written down because it's only got one word, and that one word is love. And a lot of these paintings, we've got love as a flame, love as the return, love is... And my happiest painting was one here. I started trying to do a painting. The original Yellow House was named after Vincent, and his idea, when he was waiting for Gauguin to come to visit him, you know, at the Yellow House, he did all these paintings of, they're pretty sad paintings of sunflowers. Most of the leaves have fallen off and there's just these big buds. So I started doing this painting, sunflowers for Vincent, to welcome all you back to the Yellow House. And then it just turned into love is happiness. We've just been in, Helen and I have the Yellow House in Jalalabad, and the Taliban and ISIS and these people say that we can have no happiness in this life. We have to wait till the next life. So we've just made a little virtual reality film called Fun Fair Jalalabad. There's this amazing fun fair in Jalalabad, which is like a little Luna Park. And it survived the Taliban and IS and everyone else, and the kids and everyone going there and have fun. But all the Dar Muslim people who don't let their children have, you know, the fundamentalist Muslims, not Muslims generally, don't let their children even play games, won't let them go to the fun fair. So that's happiness, you know, love is happiness. And there's other ones there, love is the quest, love is the journey. And as a mystic, I remember at the age of 21, I'd been, from when I was at school, I went and got, I didn't know what I was, you know, I just had all the EEG tests, and I went along to Roselands, and this book just jumped out off the shelves. It said, Mysticism by Evelyn Underhill. And I thought, gee, that's what I am. I bought the book on mysticism, and then from that I found Julian of Norwich and the Cloud of Unknown and the Bhagavad Gita and the Upanishads and St. John of the Cross, and it was the mystical road. So there's a painting downstairs which is called Love is the Journey. A lot of the Sufis say that, you know, we seek to find ourselves, but in the end, it's the journey. It's the journey that's what we're seeking, and we all find something different. So what actually stimulated these works was that at our Yellow House in Jalalabad, we were very lucky. One day I went out into the park, and there was a wonderful musician playing on a harmonium, the old Sufi, and he'd been in hiding from, you know, they'd been killing the Sufis, and I think he was the last one left. He'd been hiding with the gypsies, the Kuchis, and he decided enough's enough, so he came out of hiding, and that day he was playing in the park. If he'd been there for a few more hours, he probably would have been killed. So I scooped him up and took him to the Yellow House, and he started teaching everyone. He's like an old tribal Aboriginal. He's got the whole history of shamanism and Afghanistan there, and he brought heaven down to earth. You know, heaven. Helen, when she sang with him, they hit a harmony together, which just made everyone happy. It just was instant ecstasy to be with him. And sadly, last year, it was a year before, when I came back to Australia for the Peace Prize, he decided to take his music out to Lucknow province, further away than Jalalabad. And he had a good audience, and IS came along, and they berated the audience, they smashed his harmonium, they cut the tongue out of his mouth, and then they beheaded him. And that changed me completely. So from that moment on, I've been trying to do art like his music, carry on for him and bring heaven down to earth.